Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this conference organized by MEP Auštrevičius along with in cooperation with EFSAS, the European Foundation for South Asian Studies, on the situation in Afghanistan, and of course, like we discussed yesterday during the dinner, the region, because we find it very hard to believe that the situation in Afghanistan can only be tackled within Afghanistan. We think a regional approach is very, very important. The region really matters, and His Excellency has already mentioned China and Russia. I would even maybe go a bit further and mention the South Asian countries in the neighborhood, Iran, Pakistan, India, and the others. So first of all, my gratitude to you, sir, for facilitating us at this venue, and I would also like to thank Clovio, your assistant, who has been very, very kind. And a warm welcome to, of course, the EU ambassador to Afghanistan, Mr. von Brandt. Welcome, sir. EFSAS is a think tank located in Amsterdam. We basically base our research on the region of South Asia and provide strategic in-depth analysis, policy briefs, policy research, statistical data, and advice to different stakeholders within the European Union, but also outside of that, also with the United Nations. Our main focuses have been recently the region, in the region, the growing extremism and growing terrorism, and with that, of course, the effects on geopolitics and human rights. For this particular conference, I'm going to take very less time. I will moderate the session. I invite the MEP and the ambassador to pitch in whenever they like to, or after every speech of the speakers we have invited. We went this time, we thought about whom should we invite, whether those should be policymakers, scholars, Western academics, and we thought, why not do an all-Afghan panel? And I'm very happy that this Afghan panel is diverse from different backgrounds, and they're all scholars and academics in their own rights, so they will talk on the different subjects which hamper progress and peace in the region, and also focus on Afghanistan. I'll give a quick introduction of those. To the extreme left is Mr. Malez Daoud. He's a political analyst. He has formerly been Chief of Staff of Afghanistan's President, Mr. Ashraf Ghani. He's a research fellow at the Barcelona Center for International Affairs, and we can say with pride he's also a research fellow at EFSAS. Then we have, to my right, Madam Maryam Mossadegh. She's an author, she's a human rights activist with decades of experience in Afghanistan, but also outside of Afghanistan. She's also a journalist, and she has been a recipient of many human rights awards, and most notably the Women's Rights Defender Award from Amnesty International twice, in 2012 and 2015. And then to my extreme right, we have Mr. Bashir Ahmed Gouak. He is an author, he's a journalist at Radio Free Europe, and he's an expert, and from the discussions I've had with him, probably one of the best experts in Europe on terrorism, the TTP, ISIS, ISKP, and Taliban, and not only in Afghanistan, but in the wider region. We yesterday were talking about the implications for the wider region of the Taliban regime in Afghanistan, so he will most likely shed some light on that. Then we have Madam Pemana Asad. She's a representative of Roxton South Harrow on the London Borough of Harrow Council. She came to the UK as a child refugee in the mid-90s, and upon her election in 2018, she became the first person of Afghan origin to be elected to public office. And I hope she can educate us and the audience more about the repercussions for the West and which role the West should play. And then, just to give my own introduction, I am from the region of Jammu and Kashmir. We have a few more people from Jammu and Kashmir sitting here. And of course, academically and professionally, EFSAS and me as the one who is a director at EFSAS leading this organization. We have an interest in Afghanistan because it is technically, according to some, maybe not really part of South Asia, but it has such an influence on the trajectories in the region that we cover it a lot. Apart from that, on a personal level, there was this, there's a famous poet in the 16th century of South Asia, Amir Khusro, and Emperor Jahangir, the Mughal emperor, when he visited Kashmir, he quoted Amir Khusro saying, Garbaru is Aminast, Hamiast, 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 which means if there is paradise on earth, it is here in Kashmir. And the connection with Afghanistan is that there is an Afghan proverb which says, everyone's own homeland is Kashmir to him. So that's my personal affiliation with Afghanistan. And I feel we Kashmiris and Afghans share a lot. We have been through tumultuous times of violence. Many actors have remained the same, and victims have, proceeded and gone into generations. And just for our future generations, I hope we can work towards peace in the region. So finally, I would just like to emphasize that the respected speakers are invited to present their own viewpoint, and that the views expressed might not necessarily coincide with the views held by EFSAS or with the views held by the MEP Auštrevičius. So I think, His Excellency, would you like to say a few words before we start?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Petras Auštrevičius. Thank you all for inviting me. I was asked to rather comment, so I will not say much, only to thank you for this opportunity, and I look forward to the discussion.
Then we will start with the presentations of the speakers. After, in between, we can have any of the speakers or others, or including me, who will have some comments maybe. And after that, we'll have an interactive question and answer session where the public and you especially can make your views known. Thank you very much.